When you hear the word inflation, what comes to mind? Are you focused on its negative impact, high cost of living, but no bump on your income? The hard truths when you're going against inflation are higher costs of rent, gas, food, and utilities. Even as an investor, you can't escape this. However, there's one way to hedge inflation, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's Pillars of Real Estate. Inflation's the highest it's been in recent memory. I've been practicing real estate for over 20 years and I've never seen the situation so volatile and so much uncertainty of what the future may bring. But one thing that we can be certain of, if you want to protect yourself from all the negative effects of inflation, you should be adding real estate to your portfolio. There's multiple theories of inflation and how it's caused. Should the government intervene, or is the government's intervention the actual cause? We'll leave that discussion for another time, as the reality is inflation's here and will most likely be here for the foreseeable future. There's nothing that we can individually do to control inflation, so let's focus on what you can control, and that's how you adapt to inflation. One thing you have to be clear on is inflation will affect the purchasing power of your earnings and fixed income asset values. Think of inflation as a hidden tax that affects all of us, no matter where you're at on that economic totem pole. So how can you benefit as a commercial real estate investor during inflationary times? Well, first off, due to the demand pool that takes place when the demand is higher than supply, there'll be an increase in rental rates and property values will follow suit. That's why an educated investor takes into consideration the location where they're put their capital into. Ideally, you want to invest in areas where there's no rent control so you can increase the rental rate periodically, and you should make sure that your attorney has included the correct language in the lease agreement to protect your right to do so, especially on those long-term leases. Having the right attorney that specializes in real estate on your team is extremely important. I can't stress that enough. I can't tell you how many leases I've looked at that don't have the right terminology in place to protect the landlord in case of inflation. The other factor is how inflation has a particular effect on debt. I've said this many times before and will continue to preach it. If you're investing in commercial real estate, you better be in debt. As a matter of fact, if you're not in debt, you're not investing efficiently. Now, don't blindly get into debt. That's not what I'm saying, but get into smart debt. Inflation is just another reason why, no matter how you personally feel about being in debt, this philosophy makes sense. You see, as your property value goes up over time, it lowers the loan to value of any mortgage debt, acting as a natural discount. As a result, the equity on the property increases, but if you're in smart debt, at worst, the mortgage payment will only slightly tick up, but more than likely, that payment will remain the same. Another scenario that tends to play out when inflation strikes is as cost of labor and materials go up, there'll be a decrease in development sites, benefiting commercial real estate investors because that tends to lead to less competition as there will be less supply. When you tie these factors together and the opportunity to have money in your pocket increases while the fear of inflation decreases. Hopefully you found this informative. To learn more on how you can take advantage of this beautiful game called real estate, or if you're looking for an opportunity to stay ahead of the inflation curve, go to pillarsofrealestate.com and look over the information we have there. And for a limited time, you can download a copy of my book, The 4 Pillars of Real Estate, absolutely free. Next time, create a prosperous day.